miracles of their god pushed the witch hunts further, and soon the Umbra witches, keepers of the darkness, were extinguished from the earth.
The witch hunt has just begun, and you are the witch. Right alongside brutal killer classics like Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden, here is Bayonetta, which might just be upping the ante as well. You'll be smashing the hell out of these angelic creatures as you attempt to find an artifact that might just shed some light upon who you really are. You have your work cut out for you though, as there are boatloads of mystical-like creatures that want you as dead as can be. Platinum Games is a newer company that evolved from Clover Studios, which developed the hard-hitting classic God Hand and consists of a large number of people that helped Devil May Cry happen. Their last outing was Mad World for the Nintendo Wii, which showed that the studio knew how to do brutality in a beat-em-up, but with its shallow scope, despite an initial positive critical reaction, no one ever really talks about it anymore. Bayonetta seems to have more production value funneled into its first 20 minutes than Mad World seemed to have during the entire game. Bayonetta tries to do things differently and is absolutely stunningly hardcore and looks like a dream. Bayonetta is an aesthetic masterpiece. Lead character Bayonetta is sexy as hell and the enemy designs are phenomenal. In video games, it's often the bosses that manage to just barely nudge the game beyond that line into being memorable. In this game though, what could have been normal bosses are transformed into regular enemies without ever feeling specifically designated as mid-bosses. The game is just loaded with different kinds of enemies that get progressively more and more insane as time goes on, and then the real bosses are just out of this world. What I also loved about this game was that nothing ever felt like filler. Ever. The scope of each battle transitions so well from one fight to the next. You're never fighting through a long corridor of the same enemies repeating again and again. Each new encounter is fresh and exciting, and there is no backtracking. Many people often give me crap or labeling something as repetitious, but despite this game containing a lot of non-stop fighting, it is a perfect example of something that does not actually feel like repetition. It seems like there's an insane amount that's going on at first, but your eyes should be able to get the hang of it soon enough. At first, it might seem a little overwhelming. The story is cryptic, and the action is just so in your face. A laundry list of combos is presented to you, and you're told to enjoy and have fun. How are you supposed to know what kinds of attack work or not? Well, eventually, you figure out your own playing style, for better or for worse. You determine what's going to be your go-to attack combos based on length and speed for what works in the different situations. Then, you build up from that as you experiment. It's like a full-out fighting game, and once you finally wrap your head around all of it, it is just golden. When you dodge an attack at the very last moment, your character goes into witch time, slowing down the action for a few seconds. Here, you can fully unleash. The difficulty ramps up right alongside your skill, but it always feels fair and is forgiving in its checkpoints. The cutscenes are many, but often unintelligible. I did find myself wishing several times that they relaxed a bit on them in the beginning and incorporated a little more into the gameplay. There's a slight foreign feel to all of it, with hints of J-pop and bits of comedy in the same vein as other Bizarro titles, like No More Heroes, though the humor is a little less direct. I was seriously considering skipping them at times, at least when I was first starting out. All in all though, Bayonetta is one of those titles where things will finally make sense by the end of it, and then if you decide to read a little more online to brush up on some interpretations, you'll probably find yourself wanting to watch it all one more time through just to finally wrap your head around what is actually happening. Ultimately, I would even say the story is more interesting than most other titles, though I don't fully agree with how it was executed. Bayonetta might not make new fans of the genre, though it is one of the most polished titles in it. Anyone interested who complains of a sensory overload should probably just get over themselves and give the game a try. If I'm going to nitpick, Bayonetta feels a slight bit overly linear with an almost direct path throughout the entire game, although that also comes with its benefits in that you get to focus on what's truly important, the combat, without BS puzzles and needless exploration littered throughout. Bayonetta is a great game, and if you love these kinds of games, you should love this one as well. The higher levels of difficulty are there for those who crave it, while it's playable by the more relaxed style gamer as well. Bayonetta kicks 2010 off to a fantastic start and should definitely be tried. Bayonetta for the Xbox 360 receives a 9 out of 10.